What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's get started. Got a lot to cover today. Start with some baseball. So last week, the Major League Baseball they made an offer to the Players Association, and the offer was $245 million salary cap. The floor will be 171.2 million. The max contract offers for a guy changing teams, you could offer them 5 years and 202 million. You could offer a 6 year deal if they were going to if they were staying with their team, 5 for 202 if they were going to be changing teams. There was going to be they were going to outlaw uh, deferred contracts. Yes, just to clarify, it was 5 for 202 if you were changing teams. If you were re-signing 6 for 265, deferred contracts were going to be outlawed, and the Players Association gave it a vehement no. That was a hard no from the Players Association. Makes sense. I think the cap, I don't think that's high enough, honestly. The floor could probably be a little higher. That's not as egregious to me, but to me, the cap's gotta be a little closer to 300 million. I mean, think about it. Like, the cap in the NFL is like 300 million now. And I mean, we see some crazy deals in the NFL, sure. We got seems like every quarterback now is making over 200 million. Dak got 300 million a couple of years ago. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys quarterback, and he's what? At best, the eighth or ninth best quarterback in the NFL. But still, in the MLB, we consistently see guys get, 200, 250, 300 million. We've had multiple guys now get over 400, 500 million dollars. And there's more coming. So you would think it's got to be, I mean, it's really close to 300 million. That's not a very good offer. The contract limits, I don't mind them. The NBA does it. The NHL has limits on how many years you can offer. These 10, 12, 15 year deals are kind of silly. Obviously, well, so got 15 years from the Mets, like 50 for 765 million is ridiculous. Even, Bryce Harper signed a 13-year deal with the Phillies a bunch of years ago. I think Vlad's extension with Toronto was for what, 13 or 14 years. A bunch of guys have gotten 10, 12 years. That's like that's insane. Like that's even if the guy's 25 when he hits the market, which almost never happens. Guys are usually at least 27, 20, if not 29, 30, 31, 32. They're usually not younger than like 26. So I got like Juan Soto or Bryce Harper, Manny Machado gets such a huge deal because guys don't usually, at least of their caliber, hit the market when they're 26 years old. Uh, that's why they get 10, 15 years. But like even you give someone who's 25 a 12-year deal, they'll still be 37 at the end of the deal. They're still going to be pretty much done when the deal's over. There's still a chance like the last couple of years could be really rough. Like, so I don't mind that. Deferrals, I don't mind if they got rid of that, but the cap has to be significantly higher. So they put limits on amateur drafting. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. So some things I liked about some things I completely understand why the Players Association rejected. Expect this back and forth for many, many months. It's June 29th. Yeah, I don't see them even getting somewhat close to. I don't see either side even taking a second look at one of these until probably around the holidays in December, which is right when right after the thing actually expires. A couple of firings in Major League Baseball. First off, the Mets fired Carlos Mendoza, their manager. Now, Mendoza was not the best manager in the world. He gets fired after 2.5 years on the job. Took him to the NLCS in 2024. Last year, of course, missed the playoffs, had that big second half collapse. This year, they have been absolutely horrible. They were 13 games under 500 when they fired him. They've won and lost one each, or they're 1-2 since they fired him. And now they're 14 games under 500. Let's be honest. Yeah, he didn't get the most as some guy. Had a few guys that have come in not play well, and they've left and played a lot better. But what do you expect the guy to do when they have the worst general manager in the sport? David Stearns is a complete idiot and a complete douchebag and a worthless Harvard douche that nobody likes. He's horrible. The guy's horrible. Like, look at all the guys on this roster and the guys that aren't. They let Pete Alonso go. They didn't make an offer to your all-time home run king. He is on fire right now. He's hitting like 290 this month. He's on pace for almost 40 home runs. Got 19 home runs and 800 plus OPS on the season. But oh, he's not going to be that good in 4 years. I don't care what's going to happen 4 years from now. Right now, he's still one of the legit power threats in the sport. Just horrible. Horrible. Your all-time home run leader before he turned, what, 30 or 31 years old? Ridiculous that you didn't even make him an offer. And you brought in Jorge Polanco to replace him. Jorge Polanco sucked. He's played, what, 14 games all year? At least Pete plays every day. And he's not going to play a whole lot of defense and he strikes out a lot, but at least he'll hit 40 home runs and you know what you're getting from the guy. Polanco blows. You know, Marcus Semien hitting 220. His defense is gone. Brett Beatty, get off the team. The baby Mets, they all suck. Like, this is a complete organizational failure. Brett Beatty is hitting 209 for sub 600 OPS. He's 2 for his last 31 with 12 strikeouts. He should not be in the league. Mark Vientos is useless, complete dickhead, not a consistent enough hitter to play every day in the major leagues. Horrific defender. Like, get him off the freaking team. Francisco Alvarez, too inconsistent of a hitter to play every day in the major leagues. Terrible defender, calls a terrible game. How is he this bad at the ABS as a starting catcher in the league? Doesn't pitch frame well. Can't handle the running game. You know, you have a guy in Luis Torrens who's a decent bat-to-ball hitter. Great defender back there. Calls a good game. Good pitch framer. The best catcher in baseball at throwing out runners over the last couple of seasons. Meanwhile, he can barely get time when Francisco Alvarez is hurt. And Alvarez is always hurt. Yes, he comes back from his injuries very quickly. Multiple times he's had an injury we thought would take him 2 months. He came back inside of 3 weeks, but he's always hurt. Like, he misses 50 games a year. It's ridiculous. Like, get him off the freaking team. You know, they went out and traded for Luis Robert. Nice to have Luis Angel Acuna, a Gold Glove caliber defender who maybe will start to hit at some point in his career. The main piece from the Max Scherzer trade. So really young. Instead, Robert played like 20 games, was terrible in center field, didn't hit much, and he's been injured all season. You got Kawhi Senga still on the roster. You know, the guy's got an ERA of almost 10. Now he's pitching out of the bullpen. They got a 17 or $18 million like long reliever now. Sean Manaea makes $25 million next year. Next year, Sean Manaea makes $25 million. Your closer is Devin Williams. He hasn't been very good. Like, I don't get what you want the guy to do. Their interim manager is Andy Green, the crappy-ass manager from San Diego from 13 to 16 that none of the players liked. Oh, yeah, that's going to make a big difference. Yeah, no. And stop pointing to the Phillies. I know they have the same record as the Mets when they, you know, at one point when they fired Rob Thompson, but they had Don Manley. Manley's a baseball lifer. He's been in baseball as a player, a manager, or an assistant coach since the 70s. He's done this for a long time. He's been a manager for over a decade in baseball. He's managed in the playoffs with multiple teams. Like, stop comparing Don Mattingly, who should be in the Hall of Fame for Major League Baseball, to Andy Green, who came down from the front office and was already promised he's not getting a full-time job next year. Like, at that point, you might as well just give Carlos Beltran a shot. Ex-player. Also, they tried to hire him in 2020, decided to, and then they fired him 2 months later after the sign stealing stuff the Astros came out. Mets legend, you know, a great player, Hall of Fame player. Like, I don't think he'll be a good manager, and I cannot imagine he would change a damn thing with this team, at least this year. But, like, you don't know what Carlos Beltran is technically. I have a pretty good idea he's going to be a disaster, but I don't know for sure. Andy Reid, I know, is a bad manager, so I don't get what the point was. Yes, no one on this staff is, you know, worth their salt to be a manager. Whoever the hell the hitting coach is, the pitching coach is Justin Willard. He's been terrible. You know, the pitching coach last year, Jeremy Hafner, they ran out of town. Now he's a pitching coach for the Braves, and Braves have one of the best staffs in the league, and they're possibly going to be in the, you know, a chance to win a World Series this year. Just absolutely ridiculous. Dumpster fire all over the organization. They are what the New York Jets are to football. It's what they're the the Jets of the MLB. Just horrible, 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 horrible. I don't even have the energy to rant anymore. I did my rant earlier in the year on Stearns. Maybe I'll do one more at the end of the year. I don't know. I don't have the energy to rant about the Mets anymore. Uh, the season was over by the end of April. Just an absolute disaster of a team. The Los Angeles Angels have fired Perry Minchian, the general manager, after 6 seasons. Longtime Cardinals president John Mozeliak is going to be a consultant for the team for now. And look, Minchian wasn't good. They did not sniff the postseason in 6 years of him as the general manager. I think his not trying to get the value out of Mike Trout, who clearly is a player. Yes, he's maybe the greatest player in the history of the Angels. Yes, he's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. At the peak of his powers, he's one of the best players we've ever seen. And I get it. He is the Angels. But aging player on a crazy contract like that, you got to get something for him. If he's not traded this year, this is probably your last chance. This is the last time he's probably going to be mostly healthy and playing at an all-starish level. So, they're not going to trade him. And just the mishandling of so many things. How many young guys have come through and not worked out? Like Joe Adele's turned himself into a decent player, especially as a defender, but not what we all thought he was going to be. How many pitchers have come and just been complete flops? From just like Jamie Barria and Griffin Canning, and just seems like every pitcher that comes through. Like, who's the last like real good pitcher they had? Like Reed Demper's having a great year. He's a guy I think they should cash in on the move. They probably won't, they won't strike while the oven's hot. I guess no one should know the first baseman a couple years ago got a really good year. I thought he was going to come along. He's regressed since then. Same thing with Logan O'Hoppe behind the plate, and just there isn't a whole lot to like with the Angels. The Anthony Rendon contract, like he was terrible, but no GM has been good there in forever. No manager has had any success there. You had Mike Scioscia for 1,000 years. He moves on. You bring in Brad Holsmith, who was a solid manager in Detroit for a few years. You run him out of town after one season. Then you bring in Joe Madden, more laid back manager. Won a ring with the Cubs, got close to a ring with the Rays. You sucked of him. You ran him out of town. You gave Phil Nevin a shot, a long-time assistant coach. That didn't work. You rolled in Ron Washington, baseball lifer, older school manager. He's there a year and a half. They started to play better last year. He has some health problems. He steps away. You promote the bench coach. They sucked under him. You fire them both. What you did to Ron Washington was just terrible. And you bring in Kurt Suzuki, ex-player for the Angels, recently retired player, former catcher, and it hasn't been any better. Like, I just don't know. At this point, you need to look at the owner. And Art Moreno is a disaster of an owner. Remember, he was saying he was going to sell a couple of years ago. We're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and it didn't. He's like, oh, changed my mind. That when that happened, I was like, these Angels fans, they have it rough. Especially right across town is the Dodgers. They're signing every big free agent. They're winning World Series every single year, getting the most out of every single player that comes through there. Like, that must be rough. Even to like the A's, the Athletics, as bad as their ownership is, at least they're trending in the right direction. They had to leave California to get there. Like, man, it must be that must be what Mets fans, feel like. At least with the Yankees, Mets fans can like when they lose in the playoffs every year. The Angels, they can't even do that because the Dodgers win the whole thing every single season. And the Dodgers GM's got some balls on like Brian Cashman, so it's like, oh, all right, the Yankees lost in the playoffs, but we can still go. We had the money to go out and get a big free agent, and Cashman just won't do it. At least if the Dodgers, were to lose in the playoffs, they're going to go out and sign the biggest free agent that they can. They're going to look to, fix and right the ship the following year. But he's out in Anaheim as the Angels look to see what they can do next, which might be just to lay down and die at this point. I don't know what else they're going to do. A lot of basketball. So we got free agency in NBA and in NHL going on. A lot of trades in the NHL and in the NBA. A couple signings, a couple extensions. I'm going to go over all that within the next couple of segments. Starting off with the NBA. The Suns re-signed Mark Williams, 3 years, $38 million. Solid re-sign. They re-signed him, Jonathan Goodwin, and Colin Westby to multi-year deals for not a ton of money. Mark Williams this past year had a decent year. He was not his best year of his career, but once again was hurt a bunch. Only played 60 games. That was the most of his career. He had never played 44 games was the most he played in each of his first 3 years in Charlotte. He averaged 11 points, 8 rebounds, shot 64% from the field. But I mean, Mark Williams, he's nothing special. Good athlete, good lob threat, good rebounder, but can't space the floor. Not a good defender. He's hurt a lot. But I think this is what the player he's going to be. He's at best like a 15-10 guy. But I mean, $12 million is not a lot in the NBA. I think it's a fine contract for him. We have a lot of stuff happen. The Knicks re-signed Jose Alvarado, 3 years, 14 million. That's a nice team friendly deal. Alvarado is not a world beater. He has been in the league for 5 years. He's an 8 point a game scorer. He's only averaged more than 9 points in a season one time. That was 2 seasons ago. This past year, he averaged 7 points a game between New Orleans and New York Knicks. He did shoot 35% from three. He's just a solid player. I've talked about him a lot. He's a very likable player, good defender, decent 3 point shooter. He's a very solid bench player to have. So he comes back to the Knicks for 3 years, as now the turn of votes trying to re-sign Mitchell Robinson and Landry Shamet, as well as Jordan Clarkson. Cannot imagine Mitchell Robinson comes back. Maybe Landry Shamet, maybe Jordan Clarkson. We'll see what happens. But Jose Alvarado will be back in a Knicks uniform. Pistons re-sign. I mean, not re-sign. The Pistons acquire Isaiah Joe from the Thunder for 2 second-round picks. This is a good move for the Detroit Pistons. Joe had the best year of his career this past season. 71 games, averaged 11 points a game. Shot 42% from three. In 6 years in the league, he's a 40% three-point shooter for his career on almost 5 attempts a game. This past year, shot a career high 42.3% from three on 6 attempts per game, second most per game in his career. So only going to be 27, give up 2 second-round picks. That's a good piece for the Pistons to add. They definitely need some more shot creators and some more floor spacing. Isaiah Joe can definitely bring that to their second unit. Or who knows, maybe he'll even see some time in the starting lineup. Pelicans decline the option on Kevon Looney. Look, he's a very good rebounder, but he doesn't bring a whole lot else. He's only so good of a rim protector. He's pretty useless offensively. The guy shot 41% from the field this past year. Or he only averaged not even 3 points a game. Was injured a lot. Only played 21 games. Heard he's going to have interest from some contenders. Heard the Knicks are looking at him. I could see him coming in and replacing Mitchell Robinson. He'll be a little bit cheaper. And I can't imagine he's a slightly better free throw shooter. He's 61% for his career, which is still bad, but not as bad as Mitch, obviously. And he's pretty much just as good of a rebounder. And he's not the rim protector and versatile defender that Mitch is, but if you just want to replace the rebounding Kevon Looney, they could probably get something close to a veteran minimum. The Thunder re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, 3 years, 75 million. That's a good deal. I said that this is probably what was going to happen. I thought they would decline his what was it, $20.5 million option and sign him to a multi-year deal for like 24, 25 million a year and probably backload so they can stay under the tax this year. That's what they do. Hartenstein, he was hurt a lot this past year, 47 games. Was hurt a bunch in the previous year, only played 57 games, but he is one of the elite rebounders in the sport. He's got a nice floater game. He's a very good rim protector, very good player. He averaged 9 points and 9 boards this past season. Shot 62% from the field. Just a really solid player. I do miss him on the Knicks. They got a ring after he left, but I do miss him on the Knicks. He's just a really solid player who's developed very nicely as he's played more in the NBA. He'll be 28 next year. The Thunder re-sign him. I thought maybe they would move him after they drafted that Mara, but now this gives you an elite size advantage for pretty much any team in the NBA. The Hawks have decided to guarantee. The Hawks are guaranteeing Buddy Hield his $9.6 million contract. Good for him. He's one of the elite three-point shooters in the NBA. We have a trade. So the Phoenix Suns acquired Miles Bridges from the Charlotte Hornets, as well as a 2027 second round pick and a 2029 first round pick. I think that's the least favorable of maybe Minnesota and Cleveland. They send Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and an unprotected 2033 first to the Charlotte Hornets. So this is kind of an odd trade. Don't love it for either side, but I actually like it slightly more for Charlotte. A lot of people have it like that for Charlotte. I actually like it a little bit more for them. Bridges is not a bad player. For his career, he's played 7 years in the league. He's averaged 15, almost 16 points for his career, 6 boards. Last year, averaged 17. So he's a solid player, but he's nothing special. This past year, like I said, he averaged 17 and 5 for his career. He's 15 and 6 for his career. He shot just 33% from three for his career. That's about where he is for his career. He's only shot more than 33% from three twice in his career. He shot 40% in 2021, and he shot 34, almost 35% in 2024. This is a guy that's got obviously well documented multiple court issues. He's had health issues in the past. He played almost every game this past year, but he's missed 15 plus games uh, 3 times in his career, 10 plus games 4 times in his career. And he's a solid starting forward. Can maybe give you like 20 and 8, 28 and 4 guy, but just not doesn't space the floor a whole lot. He's just an okay defender. He's just a middle of the road player. Solid player. Like maybe he's a 3 on a good team. But that's about it. Grayson Allen, he is going to be 31. He came into the league a little bit late, but he had a career this past year. He averaged 16 points a game, shot 34% from three, 40% from the field. So he's a very solid guard to have on your bench. He's been known to be a dirty player in the past. Obviously, was very hated when he was at Duke. And he's had some, dirty plays in the past. He's bounced around the league. His rookie year, he was in Utah, then gets sent to Memphis, ended up in Milwaukee. He's been in Phoenix the last few seasons. Just had a career year. This is a good scorer, decent three-point shooter. He don't 34% last year isn't fantastic, but he led the league in three-point percentage 2 years ago, shooting 46% from three. He had 9 attempts a game this past year, which is wild considering he never averaged he had an average six attempts per game the rest of his career. So that's not a great sign for guys who's going to be 31, but he's still a solid guard to have on your bench. Decent defender. He's got a little edge to him, which I think will help. And Royce O'Neal also comes in. He's a very solid 3-and-D guy. He averaged 9, almost 10 points this past year. He shot 40% from threes. He's 38, almost 39% three-point shooter for his career. He's played 9 years in the league. He'll be 33. That's a really solid 3-and-D vet for them to add. I think I see what Charlotte is trying to do. First of all, they're trying for, they've had some guys with some character issues. LaMelo Ball had a bunch of them. Obviously, Miles Bridges had off-the-court issues. Brandon Miller, who's obviously is still there, he had an issue in college with some guns. So you move LaMelo Ball. You get 3 swaps, which swaps are much more valuable now with the new lottery rules starting next year. And you get Miles Bridges, where they get a really good fit. You move off of Miles Bridges. You get Grayson Allen. You get Royce O'Neal, 2 valuable role players. You get another unprotected first that you can use in the future trade. Don't love them moving to 29 first, but it isn't their pick, so it's not that big of a deal. The second isn't that big of a deal. And for Phoenix, a team that, obviously during that era of Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, their issue was, not enough depth, no money to sign guys, and no picks to deal for guys. And, Bradley Beal's contract was pretty much immovable. They ended up having to buy him out. They got more for Kevin Durant than they probably should have, honestly, than we originally thought it was when the trade happened. But so it's a trade. Granted, they get 2 guys who are a little bit older. Grayson's gonna be 31. O'Neal will be 33. They get Miles Bridges, who's going to be he's gonna be 28. So they get a little younger, and you send out a pick 7 years from now, and you add 2 picks, a first rounder in 3 years and a second rounder next year. So I don't hate it for them, but it's kind of an evenish trade, but I actually like it a little bit more for Charlotte, getting a little bit more depth. I don't think getting off of Miles Bridges is a bad thing for them. Kind of an odd trade, but I like it a little bit more for the Charlotte Hornets. Heat re-signed Andrew Wiggins, 3 years, $64 million. Originally, it was reported that he was going to opt into his $30 million option. Probably did that just to facilitate the extension. Wiggins, he's had a weird career. He was a first overall pick by Minnesota in 2015. First year was rookie of the year. He averaged almost 17 points a game. And for a couple of years, he kind of started to develop and he started to regress. Inefficient score, terrible defender. Then all of a sudden, he found some efficiency. He became a much, much better defender. He went from one of the league's worst defenders to one of the better ones. But he's not the most efficient scorer. He did shoot 41% from three last year on 2 attempts a game. So he's an okay scorer. He's a pretty good shooter. He's can be a little inconsistent, but when he's on, he is one of the better ones. He doesn't do it with a ton of volume, which is the problem. But very good defender. He's a solid player. He's gonna be 31 years old. He resigned. I think it's a fair deal for both sides. I assume it keeps him on the attacks. And he had a bunch of options. They were declined and exercised. Marcus Smart has declined his option. It was worth $5.4 million. I think that makes sense. Marcus Smart is a much older player with health issues, but I do think he's worth more than the $5.5 million or so that he was going to make with the Lakers. He had a good year this past year. He averaged 9 points a game and 3 assists. Shot only 33% from three, so he can't really shoot much anymore. And he's gonna miss a lot of games. He's due to miss a solid 15, 20 games at least every single year. He's gonna be 32, veteran, a lot of playoff experience, has had some big games in the playoffs. Guy who doesn't shoot well. He's a 32% three-point shooter for his career. He's played 12 seasons in the league. He's had numerous games where I was playing the playoffs where he shut the lights out. He had a couple in Boston. He had that one game where he had, what, 7 threes? I think it was in the first round against Houston with the Lakers. And he's a really good defender, too. So someone will definitely take him as a backup point guard. James Harden's opting out of the $42 million. The Cavs are looking to resign to a multi-year deal. I don't get what the point is of having this guy on your roster. Yeah, in the regular season, he'll be a solid player. He'll average, what, 25 and 10 assists, which is not bad by any means. He'll have a couple 30-point games. He'll have a 40-piece here or there. But the guy in the playoffs is an other train wreck. Like, it's not like he's done it like a few times. He's been doing this for a decade. For a decade. He is the poster boy for all of sports for an elite regular season player that just cannot play in the postseason. For as bad as some guys are in other sports, Lamar Jackson in football, Aaron Judge in baseball, James Harden blows those guys out of the water. Okay? Out of the water. So Marcus Smart, James Harden, if you're the Cavs, I don't know what the point is of bringing them back. Zach LaVine's going to opt into his $49 million option. Makes sense. There is no chance Zach LaVine would get $49 million on the open market. He's a fine player. This past year only played 39 games, but he did score. He averaged 19 points a game, shot 39% from three. So he's a really good scorer, good three-point shooter. But he's gonna be 31. He's always hurt. He's did miss half a season. He's had so many seasons where he's played only between 20 and 40 or 20 and 50 games. They should try and trade him, but I don't know what they're gonna get for him. But get something because he's an aging player. Now him as a 2 or a 3 on a team, I think is a really nice piece to have. But if he's your best player, you got problems, which is where the Kings are. And Draymond Green is opting out of his $27 million player option. Apparently, they're going after LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So I get this straight. The team that has a 38-year-old Steph Curry, granted Steph's still an elite player, obviously one of the greatest of all time, a 37-year-old Draymond who's completely washed, and 38 or 39-year-old Al Horford wants to resign a 32-year-old Kristaps Porzingis whose body is completely failing him, is looking to add a 42-year-old LeBron James who has nothing left and brings all the negative PR, and trade for, a 34 or 35-year-old Anthony Davis who's going to miss 30 to 40 games a season, coming off another major injury. Okay, buddy. Sure. I guess knock yourself out. Knock yourself out, Warriors. Knock yourself out, Draymond. Wonderful. Though he would love to play with LeBron James, man. The guy's a complete dick rider when it comes to LeBron James. Let's talk some hockey. Bunch of moves that happened. We had a sort of a small trade. Rangers trade Brett Berard to the Canadians for William Trudeau in like a minor league player swap. Berard's played sparingly, more top prospect. He hasn't been great so far. Still really young. He has maybe a full season of games under his belt, but he hasn't produced much. He goes to Montreal for William Trudeau, who's still in the minors, but has been pretty solid. Both of them I don't think have super high ceilings. I think Trudeau's a tiny bit higher. They make a swap. The Blue Jackets make a move. They get Valery Nichushkin from the Avalanche for a second, third, and fifth round pick. A lot of the picks that were traded in the lobby trades I'm going to report have already been used because the NFL draft was this past weekend. Nichushkin's a good player. 17 goals and 49 points this past season. That was one of the best years of his career. He's going to be 31. Solid player for Columbus to add. Moving along, the Islanders re-signed Tony DeAngelo for 2 years at $4.5 million a year. What are we doing with the keeping Tony DeAngelo around? Look, he's a good puck mover. Yeah, he had 35 points last year, but he's a horrific defender on the back end. He's going to be 31 years old. The guy's a complete asshole, a complete train wreck to have in the locker room. Nobody likes this guy. Just why do we keep him around? $4.5 million, I'm sorry, is no pay for Tony DeAngelo. It just is, okay? It just is. But Buffalo is busy. They've been very busy. You make the Bowen Byram trade. Obviously, you couldn't come to terms with Alex Tuck, so you send him away to Washington. But you make a move with Anaheim. You get Owen Zellweger from the Anaheim Ducks. You send Anaheim Wahlberg and a second round pick the other way. Zellweger is a very good player. Defenseman had 7 goals and 22 points last year with Anaheim. Still going to be just 23 years old. Anton Wahlberg is a prospect. He was a second round pick in 2023 by Buffalo. He is a centerman. He had 9 goals and 37 points with the Rochester Americans last year. Still he's gonna be 21 next week. So 2 talented young players, but Zellweger has proven to be a good young defenseman in the league. Should only get better. I think Wahlberg will be very good as well, but I like this for the Buffalo Sabres a lot. With another good young player to that elite young core. And you also re-sign Beck Malenstein to a 6-year deal worth $2.9 million per season. The Blues make a move as they've been busy. They sent Jordan Kyrou to the Capitals. Now they pick up Brandon Carlo for the Leafs for 2 third-round picks. I like that for the St. Louis Blues. Carlo is a very solid defender that they add to their blue line. Going to be 30 in the last year of his contract. He'll make $4.1 million. And he goes to the Blues. And for Toronto, you get 2 threes from him. Kind of makes up for giving up a first rounder and your top prospect for him the year prior, 2 years ago. The New York Rangers make a big move. They trade for Pavel Dorofeyev, make a move with the Vegas Golden Knights. They give him 2 picks in the draft that just happened. It was a late first rounder, the 92nd pick, a conditional 2028 first round pick. They extend Dorofeyev on a 7-year extension with $11 million a year. I think this is a good trade for the New York Rangers. Dorofeyev is only going to be 26. Back-to-back 35 goal seasons. 2 years ago had 35 goals and 52 points. This past year, 37 goals and 64 points. Only going to be 26 years old. He won a Stanley Cup with the Vegas Golden Knights a couple of years ago. Was in the Cup final again this year. So this guy brings a championship culture. Many elite young goal scorers in the sport. And it's something the Rangers really needed. And they need another elite goal scorer. Because Evander is still a really good player. You know, can give you 25, 30 goals, 70, 80 points. But older. Not quite the same. Obviously, Panarin was dealt up a deadline last year. And they needed an elite goal scorer. And they get one in the prime of his career. So I get you 2 months and a 3 is a lot to give up. But that pick in 20 is conditional. I think it's a good trade for the Rangers. And for Vegas, if you were going to re-sign him, you got a late first in this draft. You got a third round pick. You get a potential first rounder 2 years from now. I don't think you're going to get much more than that. So they did a decent job too, getting the most out of a player. If you're not going to re-sign him, you might as well get something for him. The Kings re-signed Brant Clark, 5-year deal for $7.4 million a year. Clark won the best young defenseman in the NHL. Only going to be 23 next season. Best year of his career this past year, 8 goals and 40 points. He's very good. And the Kings re-sign him. The Bruins make a big move. They get JJ Petreka from the Utah Mammoth. They give up 2 first-round pick. Petreka is a good player. He's a winger. Bit of a down year this past year, but still 25 goals. The year before, 27 goals and 68 points. But still going to be 25 years old. Now he gets to play with David Pastrnak, who's one of the best players in the league. He's a 40-goal, 100-point guy. He gets to play with a little bit of a better unit. Boston really needed another goal scorer, and they get a guy that can give you at least 25, 25 goals, 50 or 60 points or so in the prime of his career. And the Rangers were going after him last year. Boston's been going after him for a while, and they finally get it done with the young German as he heads to the Boston Bruins. The Blues make another move. They pick up Mason McTavish as they stay busy. From the Anaheim Ducks, they gave up 2 first-round picks in the draft that just happened, 15 and 29. McTavish is a very good player, still only going to be 24 years old. He was a 3rd overall pick in 2021. This past year, bit of a down year, 17 goals, 41 points. Year before, 22 goals and 52 points, but still solid. He's got a little. I think he's got some better goal scorers around him, I'd say, in St. Louis. That's a really nice piece for the Blues to pick up. He's a really good young centerman that they add. Definitely makes up for losing Jordan Kyrou. So the Blues have been very busy on the trade market. And the Sharks re-sign Zach Ospachuk. He gets a 4-year deal worth $2.3 million a season. He's still young. He hasn't produced yet. He's played 122 career games and only has 5 career goals and 11 career points, but still young, still only going to be 23. Was a 2nd-round pick by Ottawa back in 2024, but he's only played a couple of seasons, so we will see what happens. And the Carolina Hurricanes have traded for the rights to John Carlson. They send the Ducks Kyle Masters, who's a restricted free agent and a 6th-round pick. I like this. Carlson is going to be 37, so he is a much older player, but this is a potential Hall of Fame defenseman. He has been a Calder finalist multiple times in his career. And this past year, even at 36 years old, between Anaheim and the Washington Capitals, after 16 years with Washington, he got traded to the Ducks at the deadline. Last year, still 14 goals and 60 points, still one of the best offensive defensemen in the game. And Carolina, who already has obviously an elite group of defensemen, adds another really good defenseman in John Carlson. Still have to give him a contract, but if they're making him a trade, I'm sure they will do just that. And one more move, we don't know the terms yet, but the Canucks are acquiring Brendan Gallagher. Of course, older player, was once an all-star level player, 30-goal-a-year guy. He no longer is the same player, but much older and on a big deal. So the Canes are going to pay half his salary. He goes to Montreal. I wonder if they got any picks of him. We'll see what happens that deal. But Canucks get Brendan Gallagher from the Montreal Canadiens. And the last thing that I'll leave you with, the CFL has banned Brendan Sorsby from playing in the league. What a fall from grace, and it's so funny. This is why you don't gamble and then don't take responsibility for your actions. This guy's just getting. He went from, top quarterback for a group of 5 team for Cincinnati, top quarterback in the portal. It was either him or Sam Levitt in the portal last year for the top quarterbacks. Was going to make $5 million to play for Texas Tech, who was the 3rd best team in the country last year without much of an offense. He gets accused of gambling. Comes out he made 90,000 bets over the last 4, 5, 6 years. They mentioned he was a redshirt at Indiana a few years ago. To check himself into a facility, takes no remorse. The NCAA was gonna ban him. Then all of a sudden, a court in Texas makes him eligible after he serves a 2-game suspension against ACU in Oregon State. NCAA was like, no. Not going to happen. They were trying to get it reversed. Then Sorsby said, you know what? I'll drop my lawsuit. I'll enter something in the draft so I give myself a better chance because Zamples is going to actually hold it this year. Again, if goes, actually, we're not going to hold it again. So he got screwed again. I'd imagine he's going to try and reopen his lawsuit. And now they're like, good luck in the NFL draft of probably going in the sixth round the best, you know? And Texas Tech already announced he's not going to play for them. Yeah, it cost him $5 million, but it would have cost him so much more if they had actually played them, and then we would have been willing to play them. So Sorsby, and now he can't even go to the CFL. So if no one signs him next year, he can't go to CFL. So he's cooked. So don't do stupid stuff. Don't gamble. Don't be a degenerate gambler. That's the moral of the story here. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.